Hey folks, Polytopia John Mann here with another matchup. In this round, it's myself as Bardur against Kickoo. They got that swag new skin, looking great. This is a might match. They start this out. Let's start playing the game. Let's go through the 5 first rounds super quickly here. So the first 5 rounds, they're definitely winning, right? They have 3 cities. All of them have been upgraded at least once. One of them upgraded a second time. They're doing some more exploring. They are getting their ships, getting their sailing. If I go back super quickly, I think they realize that this is going to be mostly a water match, right? Since they're Kickoo, they get that advantage that starting with fishing, there's clearly a lot more border cities where they're looking at. So they're playing a good start. Just keep watching. Back on my turn, I only have 2 cities now, 3 cities, and only 2 of them are upgraded. Let's keep watching. I upgrade that 3rd one with a road. And get some more riders. They discover hunting, start upgrading some this new city. They get the explorer. And they discover most of my area. That's actually a smart move because up to this point I have no idea where they are. You'll notice that a lot of the game, while they're on the water, I can't really see what kind of ships they have. Right? This ends up being my disadvantage, but I play the game mostly defensively. Just keep watching. Let me just pause for a second. So at this point, I can clearly see that they're Kickoo. And so I now know that this game is going to be mostly fought on the water. And if you look closely, I'm starting to realize that there's no land bridges, right? And so there's just going to be these edge bridges here, these edge land bridges. So rather than going with knights like I do sometimes with Bardur, I'm going to need to get things on the water at some point. I know this. And since they're Kickoo, I know that they probably have ships before I do. So I'm going to need to play this game defensively with range until there's a really good moment to move my units across. Let me just pause for a second. I discovered mathematics. The goal with mathematics is to have catapults that I have far enough back here to protect these cities, right? And if they ever get close enough here, I could attack them. The problem that I'm going to run into is that here and here and also here prevent me from having my catapults close enough. So if I put them here, they can attack. They can also attack all the way up to here, right? So my catapults aren't able to be, we'll say, defensive aggressive, right? Any of the ones that I have up here can still be attacked here. Even the ones that I would have here can be attacked, or here, 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 and of course any of these areas. So catapults may prevent them from getting a unit on on my cities, but I can't really use them aggressively, as in if they push up a bunch of units up here, they're still going to be able to destroy all the catapults I would have. So it's going to be a bit of a problem to try and navigate this this match with these catapults. However, I don't think that it would have been a good play for me early on to go with sailing, simply because he's just going to beat me to the punch, and anything I get on the water is going to be destroyed pretty quickly. So I'm going to have to play this game very defensively until I can get a lot of things on the water very quickly. There we go. So this is one of the ones I mentioned. Moving things here is never going to work because they can always attack it at a bit of a distance, and I can't do any damage. Right. So all of my catapults are going to have to exist back in this area a bit in order to play defensively properly. So the end of their turn, it's turn 13. They're getting 25 stars per turn, despite having more cities. They're playing a bit of an aggressive game. They're spending, these are costs of 7 each. What I'm hoping for here is to do a bit of a trade, right? If I can, if they start upgrading these to battleships, and I can destroy them with a catapult, right? Even if the next turn they destroy the catapults, I'm trading an 8-star unit for a 22-star unit minimum, and that's a pretty good trade, right? So that's kind of the strategy I'm going to play for most of this game. Play very defensively, economically deplete them, and then do an aggressive play onto the water. Let's see how this plays out. So there you go. I don't know if you saw that. Go back here. So I'm now getting a bunch of these catapults in the back. It's unlikely they're going to go with knights, and even if they did, here's a mountain, so it wouldn't be particularly effective. And then there's a mountain here as well that makes knights completely moot in this matchup. So I can go ahead and spam all these catapults in terms of doing something defensively, with the hopes that I can build up my economy to then do an aggressive push. Let's switch this back to auto and keep watching. One of the things I don't get about this, their playstyle here, is why they're not going with customs houses. Customs houses gives you 2 stars per turn per adjacent port. And it looks like they have 2 ports here. They're going to have a couple ports over here. If they put one here and then maybe one here, they're getting an extra 6 stars per turn there. They already have roads. They probably should have done that one sooner, knowing that if you look at their tech tree, they went with whaling last turn. If they went with roads last turn, then progressed into trade, that probably would have been a better move, right? They'd be able to play the economic game, especially since battleships cost so much, and they already have the early advantage on the water here. And there are no ports that I have. Now, they saw that I took in this this fish that was here, so they know that I'm moving towards ships on the water, but this would have been a great time for them to advance economically so they can own the water. Now, remember, the goal is with water, if you can completely prevent your opponent from doing anything on the water, you've pretty much locked this game in, especially since the only place to cross are these land bridges, right? Getting a couple defenders there and a couple defenders here is going to completely stop my movement, and then just owning the water in that case basically guarantees the game. So my goal with this giant here is mostly just to prevent them from attacking this giant over here or pushing in this direction. It's more or less just to hold them off for a bit. So I don't upgrade this one at all, knowing that it's just going to be cannon fodder. Right? Again, when giants get on the water, they're just like any other units in terms of damage. Damage output. So I'm just going to use that to my advantage in terms of damage intake. So I could just distract these four, potentially another one or two, from doing any kind of thing up here, so I can get some units on the water. So back on my turn, I now see that they have these riders. They're going to be pushing up to here in a few turns. So in order for me to prevent this, I need a couple things. I need a defender somewhere over here so they can't actually move past it. And then maybe a defender on this this building here, on this city, to prevent them from just going in. So over the next couple turns, I'm definitely going to need to get defender as a tech. So let me pause. So now I'm going with trade. I'm going to get some extra points extra per turn right over here, right, to help with that extra push to get units on the water. Let me just pause for a second. So the whole point of getting something here, it's going to get destroyed next turn. I know this, but I'm trying to just win against them economically. And so this turn, I'm going to move something onto here. I may try and get something else over here the next turn. Again, I'm just trying to deplete them economically. So either this unit destroys this, or two of these units need to move back, or one of them needs to upgrade. Given that they're only getting 22 stars per turn, if they upgrade, this is still going to move back and have to destroy this. So in any capacity, that was a good move, knowing that I'm not going to get any stars there. If they had Customs House here, they would still get those points, or get some points, stars. It just doesn't look like they're doing that, though. They pick Explorer. I don't know if that was a great move at this point, because this could have just moved on to this area and seen basically everything up to here, right? Which they don't really need a whole lot else for the next few turns. Let's keep watching. So at this point, they can see all my catapults on my side of the map. So they're going to be probably playing a little defensive until they can make a big move on 1, 2, and 3 in terms of landing their units. What confuses me about how they're playing is they don't have any defenders on the water, all right? So all units keep their health when they're on the water. And since they already have aquaticism, getting those defenders on the water is going to allow them to tank a couple of hits, which then means they'd be able to push up to here. They'd be able to destroy this, or maybe push into here and destroy that. And one here could destroy that. So I think they missed an opportunity there. But let's just keep watching. So I discover strategy. Let me just pause for a second. Yeah, I don't know if he realized that I can take this out with this catapult. Either way, next turn he wouldn't have been able to do anything. So I can move this onto here, prevent him from getting stars there next turn, and then require him from to do a lot of damage to this this giant, which means that probably next turn I'm going to get a lot of things on the water. And then now I can start doing that aggressive push I mentioned. Let me pause a second. Like I mentioned, moving the defender here is going to prevent him from being able to go up and do some damage there. Plus, the defender here is going to now block any of these units from just landing in, right? So there's my 5D chess strategy. So now that I have enough units on the water here, I moved this one up, knowing that he's going to have to do 1, 2, 3 sets of damage. And so even if that was he upgraded this, and this, that means this can't move in far enough the next turn in order to attack this this catapult. Now there are ways around that. Again, let's see what he does here. But I think on my end that was a smart move. There we go. So he proved that's not a smart move. He can now just go up and attack my... Oh, he doesn't even do it. So next turn, I can now take this one out with that. All right. I can now take either this or this one out with this catapult. I can do some damage to this giant right up here, and then I can upgrade a bunch of my... or at least one or two of these water units, these ships. There you go. So I enter his capital here. Now, it looks to me like I can win that, but now looking back, he could probably just upgrade 1 and 2 his next turn, and then push it off with a giant, which he clearly does because the round goes on for a little while longer. But I'm now just economically hitting him, right? Let's keep watching. So there you go. Like I mentioned, I got one of these battleships on the water. And so this is that push that I mentioned I'm likely going to do late game. So he does get that super unit by upgrading. Back on my turn, let me just pause for a second. I'm able to get both his rider and his unit here with these catapults, get some more units on the water. I can see that nothing's going to push up from down here into here this next turn, so I don't have to worry about getting a defender there. Right? On the other side of things, there we go. So on the other side of things, I get a defender onto here. All right, and this is probably the point where he's looking at rage quitting, because yes, he can defeat that defender with these two here, but I know that next turn I will be able to own the water because I already have these 2 units here. I'm going to get 1, 2 on next turn, probably be able to upgrade them. Right? Let's just keep watching. There you go. That's where he quits. So I destroy his unit here. with the goal of preventing allowing him to get anything else on the water. So yeah, he still has something down here. I get it. But it looks like at least up here, up at the top here, I'm going to be able to lay on some pressure with these 4 units right here, and then the next turn, an additional 1 and 2. So it makes sense that it doesn't really make sense that he quit. He could have played a little different. Again, I think the mistake that he made this game was not using customs houses. He has the roads. I can clearly see the roads. And he has a lot more usable real estate than I do, right? Like he could have put a customs house here. But I think that late game economic depletion where I constantly get a unit on his larger cities, preventing him from getting the points, and then he spends too much points on aggression too early on, and I think I ended up winning that way. If you want to see any additional videos, hit that subscribe button. If you want me to comment on your videos, put a link to the replay in the chat. I'll see you in the next one.